Welcome on another Block Chat. On this session with Denis Petrovicic and Makram Hani. Today we'll be talking about regional hubs. We'll be giving you an update about a major update that we are having coming up with soon. We're giving you some more details about it. There is interesting stuff on this Block Chat. So stay tuned till the end. Feel free to type in your questions so that we can hopefully engage with you. We're with you. We can answer you in multiple ways. And at the same time, feel free to join our Discord or Telegram. And we do AMAs there. Ask me anything. And the team is doing an amazing job over there. Dennis, how are you today?
I'm really
I caught
good.
Dennis fixing his microphone. I caught you. Okay.
Ah, no, I'm good. I'm doing well. How about you?
Amazing. Very good. You
All
you
right,
you
perfect.
you seem to want to talk about regional hubs today and tell us more about
Yeah,
why regional hubs and how do they impact our community and our environment.
Regional Hubs is a project that we've been working on since March, maybe March, February, like more actively working on developing the concept, right? And it's a project that I'm really, really excited about, actually, because it's bringing a new dimension to our DAO. And when you're building a DAO, the main issue is that you have this core team of, and you have this community, and there's always the community seems like it's outside, and then there's the core team that is doing something, and the connection between the two just grows and grows. The gap between the community, as the community grows, as the core team grows, there's a larger and larger gap happening. And we don't want that. We want the outskirts of our community to be interconnected with the core of this ecosystem that we're building. And regional hubs address this issue directly. What they create is they create and promote members from our community to be more active, and they reward members of our community to be more active. And essentially, it's something that is near to be launched. We're finalizing the last things, I believe, around it, and our community, the most active members of our community, will be informed, of course, and invited to join.
You know why? When did this idea start, Dennis?
Can you tell me, maybe?
Yeah, thousands of years ago. It's called in Arabic اللامركزية. So in
Okay.
English, decentralization. So
Okay.
when it started, there was in the empires a central authority,
Hmm.
and the central authority had to connect with the peripherals. Obviously, when the empires grew, it was more difficult to connect to the peripherals. Why? Because there was distribution of wealth happening in a certain way. There's different cultures, different languages, different people from different tribes or different localities. And when this happened, they felt that they need to do exactly what you described now. And
Okay.
that's decentralization, اللامركزية. So what they've created exactly what you're talking about, regional hubs, and multiple of those empires called them different stuff. So for example, the Ottoman Empire called it متصرفية. The Roman Empire called it something else. And those are the regional hubs. And the regional hubs had structures, and all of them at the end of the day connected to the central. So the power was, although at that time it was with the center, with the core, yet with time the purpose was the idea, which probably have not been impacted and acted on the ground. Hopefully this time it will be enacted on the ground. The purpose was to grant power And with power comes responsibility to those regional hubs where they can enact things and have things done in a certain way. And this is the idea of al-Lamarkaziyya, of decentralization in the empires that have passed over the previous few hundreds of thousands of years. So it's amazing to see that, yes, we want to empower our community so that the peripherals become centers, and so that those centers will create their own peripherals, thus centers again. And when that is a culture, you have a DAO that properly operates in a fully decentralized manner. And that's the purpose. It won't be easy. It has never been easy, but this
Yeah,
is what we're doing. When are we planning to start seeing more on the ground? And what's the
yeah,
purpose? What do we want
yeah.
to have as a material purpose?
So here today, I wanted to maybe present some of the main concept of how we've developed it and how it's going to work, just to be this blockchain to be useful just when there's somebody who is considering becoming active and they are able to basically rewatch this episode and find some basic information here. Essentially, the reason why we're building regional hubs is because knowledge is key for e-commerce in the terms of real estate, tokenized real estate as a market. And when you're talking about standardizing processes, it's fairly easy to be able to transfer that knowledge because things don't change so much. They're always kind of the same, right? And with our tokenization protocol, it's always the same process, even though the asset might be a bit different in the back. Now, here with regional hubs, what people can do, members of our community, what they can do is they can become regional ambassadors. Anybody can become a regional ambassador. You just need to follow the link with the application form, apply for it, go through that process, and basically you can become a regional ambassador. The purpose of the regional ambassador is to basically create new business opportunities. That's as simple as that. Basically, you get a agreement with Blocksquare to be able to be compensated in a way for referring new clients, new companies, new projects that want to run or utilize our infrastructure. It's as simple as that. And
In other words, having this regional hub have a two-way channel towers, and everyone can be part of a regional hub or can demonstrate a
yeah,
regional hub.
yes.
Yes
So
and no.
how it works is as following. Anybody can become a regional ambassador. By being a regional ambassador, you're an individual within the community that has an incentive to bring to create a new marketplace operator or find a new marketplace operator in the region where they live and work, for instance, or to find real estate owners who want to tokenize real estate for the purpose of either staking or listing it on Ocean Point or maybe some other marketplace. So we incentivize this, and obviously as well for BST, in a way promoting BST within their community, etc. So this is kind of the role that the regional ambassador has. To be able to do business, a regional ambassador would probably be creating some kind of events. For instance, meetups. Meetups are simple, less than 2 hour long events where there's a handful of people, or maybe even 15 or 20 people come and they discuss a certain topic, etc. So very easy type of events anybody can organize with a little bit of business sense. It can be organized in an office, in a restaurant, in a bar. It really depends on the person and the locale, because the local experience is obviously important here. Then we come to regional hubs. A regional hub is a group of ambassadors that decide to create a team. 5 members of, or 5 ambassadors can join forces and say, we will elect a chair, a regional chair, to lead us to lead our regional hub. And this is basically the minimum requirement to become a regional hub. 5 different ambassadors need to join forces. Now, some may ask, do we need to all come from the same city? Do we need to come from the same country? No. You can be from a global team, you can be a local team. It really depends on how you will be growing your regional hub, in what way you will be creating events. Will you be focusing on online? Will you be doing offline? If it's offline, it will become hard if the team is too much distributed around. You need to have the ability to meet together, to actually organize events and be present there. It's going to be expensive for the hub if everybody needs to fly in whenever there's an event that is being organized. Now, regional hubs get rewarded through an allocation of BST. An allocation of BST is allocated for each active regional hub. An active regional hub is a hub that for that quarter has organized at least one event. Now, distributions, allocations are quarterly. So there's a quarterly report that the regional hub needs to submit a quarter. There's an evaluation time and process. Everything is very clear and available on our websites. And after that, a scoring is appointed to that regional hub. When there's at least 3 regional hubs in existence, this process is activated. So 1 regional hub, there's no allocation. 2 regional hubs, no allocation. 3 active regional hubs, there's an allocation. That's for that quarter, for the following quarter. Now, the allocation is then distributed between those 3 or more regional hubs based on their contribution. Each event gives you scores. Each contract that is being signed either for a marketplace or tokenizing real estate gives you points. Events, you can do meetups, small events, you have half-day events, you even have full-day events that have different scores. We utilize Eventbrite as a platform where all the events are published so that people can go and register. Regional hub chairs receive access to manage their events and invite people. They can even do paid events where people need to pay for the ticket. It really depends on how they structure this. And basically, this is all to promote people creating basically events and facilitating business, so transactional events probably, to build up our community around the world. And why is this important so much more for us as Blocksquare as anybody else? Because real estate is local. Real estate requires, you being on the ground. It requires you understanding the market, requires you to be there. And these regional hubs, I see them as big support for any marketplace operators who will want to run in their country, in their city, or somewhere.
Can the regional hubs be marketplace operators?
Sure, they can operate the marketplace themselves. Why not?
Can any of the ambassador or the 5 ambassadors be part of one marketplace?
Of course. I see that this is not an excluding activity. It can really tie in together with what you're already doing. You might be a marketplace operator already in a certain region, and you want to create a team around your marketplace, and you're going to organize events anyways. So now you are basically also getting, in a way, paid.
You're activating your region and regional hub. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And you're getting paid through BST allocations to do so, right? So you now, if you're a startup, this makes a lot of sense because you're getting budget. You're getting a budget to basically build out your company. right? Because a lot of times when you're launching a new marketplace, it's about community. You need to create a big enough community so that you can make deals on that marketplace. If you don't
we
have
have
the
we have marketplace operators that do have a community and do have a followership, and this will be perfect for them because they will be paid for something they're doing already, and they
exactly.
just need to, yeah, amazing. Okay.
Now, a regional hub can grow further than the 5 members. So for until there's basically 10 members, there's one chair. But when it reaches a certain size of regional ambassadors that work jointly, they need to elect another chair. So now they have 2 chairs, and then 3, and so forth, right? Why? Because we want to have these teams of 5 work together jointly in a regional hub. And the size of the regional hub kind of matters as well when it comes to scoring, obviously. Now, a lot of what happens after the quarter is the hubs receive the scores. The scores define the share in the total pool of allocated tokens, and we're starting for now with 20,000 BST per active regional hub to be allocated for that quarter. So if there's 3 active regional hubs, the pot is 60,000 BST. One regional hub did a lot of work, did great. They have 80% of the total amount of points that were distributed that quarter, and they receive 80% of that pot, right? So this is kind
Where
of
should they
then
where should they get in touch with us on?
they should get in touch with us through Discord. I think that's the easiest way. Discord is kind of the hub of the hubs, right? There's dedicated channels there. There's each regional hub receives its own private channel in Discord so that they can use it to talk anything and be as well connected with our regional hubs managers and ask questions there, etc. So Discord is the best place to ask. There's public chats for it. As regional hubs or the amount of regional hubs grows, we'll also obviously create new channels for it and more and more. Yeah.
Cool. So today, anyone in our community can become a regional ambassador or try to become a regional ambassador, so that one, you get paid for activity that you're doing, you love, and we see that within what you're advocating for. It's amazing. It's good to be part of Blocksquare, whole BST. Some of the community members are advocates of that. They indulge into the details of it. So why not be paid of it for it? Some of them, our head of risk is from the community, Daniel. Andy, who currently takes care of Twitter and
Yeah.
is part of the community.
Yeah.
Generally, we have several members of the team now who have been members of the community. So why not beyond that? So why only recruit on a core team level? Why don't we recruit as regional hubs and beyond? If you are interested to start on the ladder of creating your own business in your own region, where you start as an ambassador, you align with several other ambassadors whom you can know or not. So it can be people you know. You can have 10 people who are friends, or people who are family or relatives, or have the same interests, or are interested in real estate. And maybe you approach people who are pros, who are brokers, who are developers, who know the business, and you create a regional hub. Or educators, or people who are enthusiastic about tokenization and blockchain, and you create a regional hub. And then you take the process of the meetups, allow you to educate, but also get educated and collect feedback, as well as be paid for that, for doing that. So regardless of your direct interest and the direct activity that you're so good at and you would like to do, there is something in being a regional ambassador and activating a regional hub that may be good for you. Now, you may not want ever to activate a regional hub yourself. Who said that's wrong? You may be able to join a regional hub that has been created and activated by someone else. So if there is a regional hub and there will be regional hubs that are virtual and physical. So, as Dennis said, you can have a virtual regional hub where somebody from a continent and few others from different other continents can sit together, create online meetups, and indulge into that because they share similar interests or they have the same ethos. This is what it's all about. Or some people can be if a certain market, certain community, and they can do that on a local level. Both of those will allow you to activate and be part of more activity and be paid for it, because Dennis didn't tell you everything yet. There's benefits that you would collect as an ambassador for many activities that you can do, similar to referring your friends who own real estate already to come and tokenize their property and stake it. So you are making profit, helping them make profit. Cooler. So Dennis, what are the things that they can involve in, and what are the benefits that can be pulled out of that for them?
So I think we mentioned events, right? Events are a place where people meet, whether that's online or offline events, doesn't matter. I think the offline part is really important. It's not just networking, it's as well just familiarizing yourself with a new concept or some new technology as Blocksquare is bringing. A lot of times drives people from a more traditional market to be a bit skeptical at the beginning, and then if you're able to properly present it through maybe a panel and a keynote, it already puts it in a different perspective. So this professional approach of creating nice events, and you can start with meetups. Like I said, meetups are really easy to organize, and when you have a couple of meetups under your belt, and when you are then the team of the regional hub has some experience and they understand how they work together more and more, they're able to create more complexity, more complex events, and be more rewarded, obviously, for it. Some people we have a background in organizing events from the previous experiences, and some people won't be experienced in this, and they would rather join a hub that already has some experience, or people join forces with people that do have that. You can create events in different ways, but events are just one part of the equation. In the end, we can do a lot of talking,
Events
but
can be a tool, isn't it?
events are a tool. Exactly. Events are a tool for people to join, to get together, to increase awareness, increase trust, and increase knowledge sharing, right? But in the end, what matters is the transaction. And the
Yeah.
transaction is really important. Why? Because that's where business is, right? Just talking is nice. It's networking, but you need to do business as well. As you all a lot of times show me the money. You say, where's the money? We need to, you need to go there and deal with that, because that's what we're after, right? And here, I think one of the biggest scores that you get is when you land a new marketplace operator. That's, I think, like the hardest job, and we know it. But when you do it, you get really, the hub will receive a lot of points, right? And you can check, by the way, what we're talking and the exact numbers by visiting the links that we will probably also put under this block chat. Then you have the tokenization of real estate. There, we basically obviously differentiate between privately owned and owned by a company type of real estate. So if it's under an LLC, it's deemed to be more of an investment type of property, which has more value to the network because the tokens essentially can be actually offered on the marketplace, on one or other marketplace. If it's privately owned, then it's great for staking, and it's perfectly fine, but it's obviously a bit lower score. And then we also look at the valuation, the value of the asset that is being brought. And then last but not least, we have OTC deals of BST. So if you are able to bring a certain buyer there, there's a success, and
Certain
this is the
investor.
scoring, right, for that give you, as a regional hub, increase your regional hub score for that quarter, and means that the amount of the pot is going to be more of it is going to come to you. But
Cool.
then you are also a regional ambassador. You're also an individual. You as an individual, you also have an incentive individually to facilitate those transactions, right? And those transactions give you a success fee based on the referral agreement that you have signed. And then you can decide if you're part of a regional hub and the deal is made in a collaboration of 2-3, you guys will share it somehow between yourselves based on your shared agreement
Contribution
between.
or agreement. Yeah.
Exactly, right? For instance, I have a potential marketplace operator, but I know that Makram is a really good salesman. And what I do is I say, hey, can I introduce you to Makram? And then Makram does all the heavy lifting there. And we decide how we split this. Maybe we do 50-50. Maybe I give Makram 80%. I don't know. But it's probably something that we would talk it out before actually this type of things happen. So what I urge the regional hubs when they're formed, that just create a simple rule book within your regional hub so that these things are resolved up front. Now, in terms of distributing the rewards, so quarter is done, allocations have been assigned, hubs have been scored based on the scorebook, and now it's time to distribute BST from that total allocation to individual hubs. The bad thing how you would do it is you would give you would just send it to the regional hub directly. And I don't think this is a good thing. So what the part of the report that the regional chair requires to do at the end of each quarter is also assign a score to each member of the hub. Let's say there's 5 members and each hub receives 100 points contribution points that they need to distribute among the members. So they could do like, okay, it's 5 members, 100 points, it's 20 points each, and we're done. Everybody contributed the same. But then you might have situations where one is doing the heavy lifting and then 4 are kind of helping, but they're not really putting a lot of effort in. And this type of distribution wouldn't be fine. So you reassign it in a different way, right? And the responsible person is the regional chair within that, who is responsible for the report. Now, this is then assigned and part of that report. And what we do is we do the distribution of BST directly as per the report. So if you put scores 20-20-20, everybody will receive the same share of that earned BST. If it's a bit different, it's going to be a bit different. And because each regional ambassador is required to have an account on Ocean Points Marketplace with a registered wallet, they will receive the tokens to that wallet. Simple.
Cool. Now, there's something coming up, and we're approximately at the end of our time. We're still skipping beyond the 30 minutes in a way or another. Version 05. Let's blow up some secrets. So tell us more about it. What's happening there?
Version 05, what I would suggest is that we do a block chat dedicated to version 05 in the near future. And version 0, let me just give you a hint on version 05. It's going to introduce something that we're calling marketplace pools. And it's going to give more utility to BST and more power, in a way, to our community of SBST holders. They will be able to support marketplaces information with their SBST. And let me leave it at this, and then we talk next time a bit more about it.
Guys, we have told you enough. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, Dennis Petrovic and Makram Hani. Have a